we talk about intelligence in Power Platform, there are various ways to achieve this. We can use the AI builder, the pre-built models, or we can create our custom models, or we can create our own model with Azure Machine Learning and bring it within Power Platform. And the third option is integrating Power Platform with Azure Cognitive Services, which I'm going to demonstrate today. So now what are Azure Cognitive Services? So these are a set of artificial intelligence based services hosted in Azure and we can use them in our code base. The main pillars of this Azure Cognitive Services are vision, speech, language, decision, and the opinion service. And in today's demonstration, I'm going to show you how we can call this vision, speech, language, and decision service from my Power Apps app. So I have a sample use case. This is an app which is basically an online marketplace where the sellers can come, they can add their product and they can upload the image and also the buyers can come and search for the product. Now let me jump into a quick demo. So this is my online marketplace app and first I'm logging in as a seller and I am giving some product name. This is my refrigerator that I'm looking for selling and I am uploading an image. So I want whenever I am adding an image, there will be a tooltip added to the image so that it will be helping the persons with the visual problem so the screen reader can read that. Now, as you can see, whenever I have uploaded this image tooltip has been added. So this is done basically using the computer vision AI service. It has brought the description of this image. So this is the first AI service. Now let me think about the second one. So I am adding some product description here, but I want that the sailors they won't be able to add any personal identifiable information or they won't be able to add any offensive language. So now when I'm going to submit it, I can see that it is telling me that my description has personal identifiable email and it also contains the objectionable data like this word crap. So I need to remove this before I'm able to submit this product. So I'm just removing all these details and submitting this. Now I have seen that I have used two Azure Cognitive Services based APIs, the computer vision and the content moderation. Let me show you the other two APIs. So for that, I'm logging in as buyer. Buyer is doing a search. And whenever is getting the search results, if you want to translate this into a different language, so I'm selecting Dutch from here and I can see the entire page has been translated into Dutch. And if the buyer wants that the product description should be read out loud, that we can do using clicking this button that I'm just
This is
clicking this.
old. Contact me.
Okay, so here we have implemented this text to speech that is done using the Microsoft Translator service and the translation is also done using the same service. Now let's have a look how we can implement speech to text. Refrigerator. So I have clicked the microphone button and I have told it what is I'm looking to search for and you can see that it has converted my speech to text and then I can do the search. So this is done using the speech to text AI service. Now we have seen what is my use case and what are the AI-based services I am using in my app. Now let's have a look how we are going to implement this. So the first is this adding the tooltip of an image. So I have achieved this using the computer vision API. So for this, what I need to do, I just need to come into my portal.azure.com and then I'll be searching for the computer vision. So here I have this computer vision Azure Cognitive Services and I'm going to create a new computer vision service. And here I need a subscription, Azure subscription. I need to select a resource group. If I have already one, I can select it or I can create a new one. I will be selecting the region, need to provide a name and then review plus create. And then it will be creating this resource for me. I have already one created this computer vision. I'm just opening it. And when I'm opening the service, I can see there are keys and endpoints. So I need these keys while I'll be using is within my Power Apps. Now I'm coming back to my Power App and here I'm going to this data. For this computer vision, there is a connector available. This is a standard connector. This is already available and I just need to go to this add data connectors and need to search for this computer vision. And when I'm going to add a connection, it will be asking me for the authentication type. So this is the API key and this account key. This one I'll be getting from here. So one of the keys I can copy and paste it. And then I am connected with this computer vision connector. And once I have it, then I just need to write the code here. So if I come into this code and into this, I am going into the on change event. So what I'm doing, just setting up this image tooltip. This is a variable with this computer vision API dot describe image content v2 and passing the image there and it is returning me the description of this image. So this is how we are implementing my first AI service. Now let's see what we have done for my second AI service, which is a content moderator. So for content moderator, I can add the content moderator into this as a connector into my Power App. So let's see how we can do that. So I'm again going to this connectors and I am looking for the content moderator. And if I go to add a connection, it's the same thing. It is asking me for the API key. And I can say that I already have created a content moderator service. The process is same. All these Azure Cognitive Services we can create using the same process. You need to select the subscription and to select the resource group and the pricing tier. So there is a free tier F0 which you can create only one resource in this free tier which I have created. So you can see this pricing tier is free. Now for the next ones you have to select the standard tier and there are keys and endpoints. Now, if I add this computer content moderator API into my Power App, so let me just add it. I already have a connection. I am not creating a new connection here. And after adding this content moderator, if I want to use it, so just let me show you if what methods are available here. So this content moderator. So these are the methods that is available. Create job, create reviews, data language, all these are available, but not all the methods are available in Power Apps. So the method that I'm using here for defining this offensive language and personal identifiable email, that is not available here. But those method is available in the Power Automate. So for that, I am not using this content moderator API within my Power Apps. Rather, what I have done, I have added a flow here. So this is my flow, this content moderation. And let's see what is there in this flow. So this is my flow. And here what I'm doing, I'm just um, this in this I am initializing variable this whether it is a personal identifiable email is there or not and then also initializing another variable for offensive content and then I'm using this detect profanity and match against custom and shared block lists. So these action I'm using within my Power Automate and I am getting this text content from my Power Apps. This is the input variable from Power App and if I want to add a connection here, this is same as the previous case where we have used the computer vision API. I just need to provide the API key and Now, I am just checking that if there is any personal identifiable information here. So I am checking with this dynamic content, this personal identifiable email. If it is not equal to null, that means there is some personal identifiable email and the length of this is greater than 0. Then I'm setting this variable to true. Now, the next part, the offensive language. So for that, I think it would be better if I can show you one example run. So here you can see that personal identifiable information detected email. It is showing that detected and it is showing what the text for that, and there is no SSN or IP address that has been directed. Now, for this offensive language, there is this classification data category 1, category 2, and category 3, and there are some score. Now, let's see what does this mean. So if I'm coming into this official documentation for this content moderation, I can see there are the classification. So category 1, this refers to potential presence of language that may be considered sexually explicit or adult. Category 2 is sexually suggestive or mature in certain situations. And category 3 is potential presence of language that may be considered offensive in certain situations. So there are some predefined languages which this content moderation API will be checking, but if you want, you can create your own list also. So let me come back here, and here I can see this category classification has been 0.9, and in my flow I have checked that if the category classification 3 is greater than zero point 0.5, then I'm returning that yes, this is offensive, and I'm not allowing the user to submit my the product detail. So this is how we can use this content moderation API into my Power Apps through a flow. Now let's go back to the third one, which is Microsoft Translator. So for translator also there is the connector available, and I have used this connector, and similarly I have created a translation service resource here, and I have created the keys and endpoints, and here I have added this and added this keys and endpoints. And for using this translator, what I have done for all the text labels, I have used this Microsoft Translator to translate, and then I have put the text in English, and then this one language code. This is the variable where I am putting my language code. So in my app on start, I am setting up this I'm creating a collection with all the languages that I want to show here with the name and the code, and I'm also setting up this language code. Now this drop down, this is getting bind with this collection of languages, and on change event of this drop down, I'm setting up this bar language code. So for everything, whatever I'm showing up here, I'm using this Microsoft Translator. Like if I'm sure, if you want to see this, the description here also, I am just translating this based on this language code. And for this one also, where I'm reading out loud, there I'm using this Microsoft Translator text to speech, and whatever language I have selected, and it will read out loud for me. So this is how I'm using the Microsoft Translator to do the translation and converting my text to speech. Now let me show you the final Azure Cognitive Services API which I'm using here, that is speech to text. So for speech to text, I have created the one speech to text service. This is my speech service that I have created here. But for this speech service, there is no out of the box connector available in my Power Apps or Power Automate. Now, how do we implement this page to text service? So the option is using a flow. We can create a custom connector, and we can call custom connector with this speech to text API, and we can call it from my Power Apps or Power Automate, or we can use the HTTP action in my flow. So here what I have done in my Power Apps, this is my microphone control. capturing the output of this microphone control, and I can say that on stop event. So here I am capturing the microphone audio and putting it into a collection, and then I'm calling one flow and passing this collection object in a JSON format. So this is my flow audio to text which I have added here. This is audio to text flow, and let me just go into this flow. So this is the flow, and here I am getting this input format, JSON input format, and then I am just doing a pulse JSON to get the proper text format from here. Now I'm getting the audio input format, and I want to pass it to the speech to text service and get the text result out of my speech. But what I'm going to use here for the speech to text service is this is short audio format. So I'm coming into I will put all this into the description, but the links, the official documentation link, the speech to text REST API for short audio. I'm going to use this in my flow and using a HTTP action. But the thing is, if I'm going to use this, the audio format, what is supported here is WAV and OGG. Only these two formats are supported. If I just go back to my flow and if I see the run history, I can see that in the output of my parse JSON function, this is data audio WebM. That means the input that is coming from the microphone that is in the WebM format. So I need a converter to convert this WebM to WAV so that I can pass it to the speech service. So for that, I'm using a third-party connection, which is Cloud Convert. So this is the Cloud Convert website. I have created an account here, and I can get 25 free minutes per day. And after that, if I want to use it in a commercial scale, there is the pricing option. So let me show you how I have used this third-party connector. I'm just editing my flow. So I have used this convert file. So if I'm going to add an action and search for this cloud convert, this convert file, which is a premium action, this is from a premium connector I'm using here. And here I am passing this expression, this data URI to binary and getting this URL from this parse JSON and converting this to binary. And I'm providing the input file name and the output format. And I am getting the converted file content and passing it into the HTTP action through which I'm connecting to the speech service. So this is the body of this HTTP action, and URI I'm putting what I'm getting from here, this the endpoint of the REST API. So this one I'm putting here, and then providing the subscription key that I'm getting from this speech service, this case. And after I'm getting the result, I need to parse the JSON and need to get the display text property, which I will be. So this display text, this is the output, the converted text from speech, and I'm sending it back to the Power Apps. And let me come back to my Power App. And here I am setting this result property with the output of this, and then just I need to do a bit of trimming and then providing the search text variable which I'm setting up into this text input. So once I have this ready, I can do the search and get the results. So this is in short how we can use the Azure Cognitive Services from my Power Apps either through directly using the out-of-the-box connector or using the flow. And I have shown you how we can use the translation service, how we can do speech to text, text to speech, use the computer vision API and also the content moderation API to perform various AI-based tasks from my Power Apps. I hope you like this. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me and watching.